All right, Morgan, thank you. Okay, so now a story of a remarkable comeback.
Not just the comeback to keep the season alive, but the comeback of a local high school baseball player just to be on the field.
Sports director Joe D in a story you will only see right here on Fox 19 Now.
The timing tonight matters because it's last Super Bowl Sunday when Clayton Thompson first started feeling just a little bit off. A big Bengals fan with plans to watch the game like everybody else, his fever hit 105 that day. That flu triggered a syndrome that his doctors thought would end his baseball season. It is a year since this moment, the swing, and it changed a young person's life and perspective. Small things matter at a baseball practice. Hit the cutoff man, shag fly balls, call it in the outfield. I got it. What he's got isn't just a routine catch.
I'm really excited.
It's an appreciation for the routine.
Even fly ball drills, I'm ready to go back to.
And backing up on this fly ball. The only thing Clayton Thompson drops is his head. It's a small thing, a moment to gather himself and reflect on something bigger. Were you ever scared?
Definitely. Almost the whole time. I was pretty terrified.
Just 1 month before the start of his junior baseball season, Clayton Thompson laid motionless in a hospital. Diagnosed with a condition that paralyzed his body for weeks, he needed his mom's help just to brush his teeth and couldn't even move the muscles it takes to smile on his 17th birthday.
How did this, why us? Like, this only happens in the movies, or I can't believe this is our life right now. And you know, I would just kind of sit back and look at him and cry because he was so helpless.
What were you scared of?
Just the whole situation, just being helpless. You're helpless there, laying in a hospital bed.
You know, and they kept reassuring us, he will be okay. But, you know, there's always that doubt, but what if he's not, you know? He's such a good kid. It's scary.
Treatment worked, and Clayton started work on the small steps back to normalcy.
All the doctors and nurses told me that I'd get to play next year, but you never really know. It's never for sure. Like diseases like that, it's not complete guarantee how long it'll take to recover.
As the baseball season slowly progressed, so did Clayton. He needed help. He needed a harness. He needed a handrail and a walker. Clayton Thompson needed 29 days in the hospital to beat this condition and cleared to play the month after he left the hospital. This is Clayton walking to the plate with his team's season on the line.
He said, "Coach, all I'm trying to do is not fall down." And you think about that, what he's trying to do, he looks like he's okay, but he literally is telling himself, "I'm trying not to fall down."
With the bases loaded and his team down 3 runs in extra innings of the district tournament, Clayton Thompson did this. The biggest hit in the biggest game of the year. By the time the tying run scored and he reached second base, the teenager who recently couldn't move moved almost everyone in the crowd.
I do still remember that. I remember the rush, I remember the crowd, I remember running and just thinking don't fall as I was going around the bases and just feeling just pure joy standing on that second base. I had no idea that I'd even be able to hit a ball or swing in general, but I did it.
A swing that seems picture perfect in a snapshot. Not many people could picture this kind of ending. Clayton is now a senior, throwing baseballs in the outfield. It's remarkable he's even on the field.
I heard him tell you that he was terrified. I never knew he was terrified. Not once. He never complained. He never had a time where he said to me, "Mom, am I going to make it?"
But that's something bigger. They still wear his 20-strong t-shirt at practice and still broke this huddle.
1, 2, 3, touchdown!
For their teammate. Clayton didn't keep the ball, didn't keep the bat. He just kept the memory. He did a big thing, but what it did for him is teach a young person to do the small things with a smile. What's the lesson you think you learned from all this?
Appreciate the little things in life. Just walking and many things that you'd overlook. Anything like that. Just really just appreciate the things you take for granted.
Guillain-Barré syndrome is the name of the syndrome that put Clayton in the hospital, but he looks great. You could see it. Looks like himself again. He's about to start his final season of baseball ever. His future, though, is engineering. He took part in the Governor's Scholar Program this summer, and he will start at the University of Louisville's engineering program this coming fall.
Very cool.
But you could see that in the piece, how much better he looks now 1 year later. He's put some weight back on. He looks like himself. I asked him, what are you looking forward to most? He said, man, I just want to hit.
Yeah.
Because we saw him out there playing left field, getting some work in, shagging some fly balls. But he's a star in Bracken County because of that hit. He can't wait to hit again.
How's he feel?
Yeah.
He feels good, and that's a great question because when I asked him that question, he said it took all the way up until now because I mentioned at the start of the piece, he first started feeling bad last Super Bowl Sunday. Think about that. You're a Bengals fan, you're ready for the game, and you start to feel under the weather, 105-degree temperature, and that triggered him in the Guillain-Barré syndrome, but it took months for him to get all the way back. Only took weeks for him to get back on the baseball field, but to get all the way back to feeling like himself again, he said it took just about a full calendar year.
Really, really great story. Joe, thank you.
Little perspective for us.